Good morning, everyone. My name's Bradley Abbott, and I'm here this morning with Hong Kong's reigning champion, Zac Purton. Good morning, Zac.
How are you, buddy?
I'm well, thank you. It's another 2 wins last night down in Happy Valley. How's the body feeling?
It's a little bit tired. It's been a little bit hotter recently, and I've been doing a bit of hiking, getting out because we've all been locked down in isolation, as you know, but the government's starting to relax a few of their measures, and one of those has been able to get out and about a little bit more. And I've taken to enjoying the outdoors a little bit more than I used to. So the body's a little bit tired from hiking my way around the city, but, riding winners, and that's all that matters.
Very good. You're definitely no stranger to riding winners. From an early age, you won the Brisbane Jockey Premiership, and then mid-20s you decided to go test your skills in probably one of the most testing racing environments being Hong Kong. And then fast forward a few years later, you're now the reigning champion of Hong Kong, and you're going for your 3rd year in a row. What would you say has been your main contributors to your success?
Well, it's just been a lot of hard work, and it's about finding the right balance and being an athlete. Firstly, it's about nutrition and exercise. More recently, in the last 4 years, I've gone to a plant-based diet, which I felt has given me a lot more energy. My weight has been a lot more stable, and because of that, I can focus more on what I need to do. And then it's incorporating the right exercises into my regime that suit my body and suit what I do. Not only do I have a personal trainer, but I've introduced yoga, getting older in life and putting my body through a little bit more. I do Pilates as well because I've had a problem with my back, as well as playing golf, which I shouldn't play, but I enjoy doing that. Going hiking, as I said, running, swimming, all that sort of stuff. But I've found that that has been a really important part of the kids are just about to come in, so they're a bit noisy. But it's been a really important part in getting it right. But it's, for me, the success that I've been able to get here in Hong Kong was modelling myself on who the champion jockey was at the time. Yeah. Being able to be as close as I am to him here. I get to see him every day. I got to see him every day because we live in the same building. We ride on the same track. I'm in the same jockey's room. And the previous champion jockey, Douglas White, had been champion jockey for 13 years. So when I got here, I just studied him. I watched everything I did. I watched how he spoke to the owners. I watched how he spoke to the trainers. I watched how he spoke to the media. And I picked up his lingo and the way he operated. And I thought, he's a human being. I'm a human being. If he can do it, I can do it as well. So it was for me, it was about replicating what he was doing. But also, you've still got to be your own person, put your own spin on it. But that's what gave me the focus initially to try and take the necessary steps to get to where I need to get to.
All right. And then, so with that particular line of focus, do you set goals or milestones in what you want to achieve or certain objectives? Because I think now you've achieved every Group 1 in Hong Kong, which is an amazing feature in itself. So is that something you set out unknowingly to achieve, or that was a conscious decision you wanted to do, or how do you go about goal setting? What's your process?
Yeah, my goals change all the time. That was one that was unknown at the time. No other jockey in Hong Kong racing history has won every Group 1 in Hong Kong. But as I started to rack some of the Group 1s off, I then became aware of that stat. I knew which races in particular that I hadn't won that I needed to win. So then I put more of an emphasis on trying to find a specific horse for that race to be able to get that job done. And then you just tick every box one by one as you go until you get to where you need to get to. But you need to have a lot of luck. You need to be fortunate, as I have been. I've been well received here. I've, over a period of time, built up a strong support base throughout. Not just the trainers that are here. There's only 21 trainers on the roster here, but a lot of the owners. Hong Kong's a unique environment where the owners have a very large say in what goes on with their horses. It's very easy for them to change stable. So if they tell an owner to run their horse in a certain race and they want a certain jockey to ride it, and they don't do that, the owner can just ring up the next day and tell the jockey club to go and get their horse out of that stable and move it to another one. So once you understand how much power the owners have got here, then you realise that they're probably a bigger asset to have on your side than what the trainers are, but you still need a good working relationship with the trainers because they still can influence the owners quite a bit as well. So you've got to find the happy medium. You've got to find which owners have more control of their horses and which trainers have more control of their owners. And you've got to try and put it all together. But goal setting is something that I've done over the years. Firstly, it was to try and win the championship in Hong Kong. And that was a goal I had probably 4 years out from when I won it. Realistically, when I first come to Hong Kong, I wasn't in a position to do it. When I first come here, we have about 23 jockeys on the roster at any one time, and we only have 12 runners in a race at Happy Valley, 14 runners in a race at Sha Tin. So there are a few jockeys every race that sit in the jockeys room without a ride. And when I first arrived, the Western jockeys that were here had been here for a number of years. Most of them had been here for 8 years, 10 years, 16 years. So they had really strong connections with the owners and the trainers. So it was very hard for me to break in. So it's stupid for me to come in and think I'm going to win the premiership in my first season here. So I just had to come here and try and get a little bit of support. It was really hard in my first season, but I continually just kept building on that, building the relationships I had. Every time I got on a horse I thought could win, I was able to win on it. So that gave me confidence. And then slowly after a period of time, I was able to, when I say slowly, it took me probably 3 years to get in the top 4 jockeys. And then I was in the top 3 jockeys. And then for the last, I think, maybe 9 or 10 years, I've been in the top 2 jockeys as well as winning the championship. So it's about putting myself in the position to be able to win it and then going after it. Like I said, when I won my first championship, the jockey before me won 13 straight and they said he was unbeatable. So I'm going up against a guy who's basically like God here that no one else has been able to beat. But I took that as a challenge. And like I said, I studied everything he did, replicated it, and then made it better, made it my own.
So you're like the Buster Douglas of boxing when he beat Mike Tyson for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So in saying that, then it would be fair to say it wasn't an easy start. Like you just mentioned, it was a bit of a grind. You set your goal, you knew where you were going, but it was a bit of a grind from the start. It wasn't easy. You had to really, again, focus and work hard at it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think any successful person in life will tell you similar stories. Businesses are not successful overnight. You know, you need to do all the little things right. For me, if you're doing all the 1%ers right, and your homework is good and your groundwork is solid, then eventually it'll start to take care of itself. And when it does, you'll see the benefits of it. And it's just a matter of sticking to your principles, remaining focused, sticking to your goals, knowing exactly what you want. And then, like I said, just ticking those boxes off step by step and going after it. Believe in yourself.
So as you said, you wanted to get in the top 4, and then you were top 3, and now it's you're in the top 2. When you climb the top of the mountain and you got to look going, have you achieved or have you set your next goal of where you want to go, and how do you pick yourself up to do that 10% better again?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because once you get there, you're throwing everything at it. You've exhausted yourself. You put all your energies into it. When I won my first championship, it's all I thought about every day, every minute of every day, every night. I'd go to bed thinking about it. I'd wake up thinking about it. Every phone call I made was specifically for that end goal, and it was just a year of putting myself through that mental punish of chasing my dream, chasing that goal, and then finally you tick it off. Luckily for us, we have an off season, so I'm able to go away for a month or 6 weeks and enjoy it. But you feel the weight come off your shoulders, and you let out this big sort of gasp of air, and you relax, and you're able to enjoy it. But then you start thinking about defending it, which is even harder, because when you're at the top, everyone's trying to cut your legs out from underneath you, and you've got to work probably even harder just to stay there. I will say that when you do get to the top, it does become somewhat easier because you've got the reputation, you've got the support. For me, I'm getting offered a lot more good rides, but as an athlete and sportsman, you've got to continue to turn up, and especially in this environment here, the local racing media are so savage. The club, run their microphone over everything. They've got a camera angle for everything. If you're making one little mistake in any race, it gets blown up. and it gets blown out of proportion. And Hong Kong's a very small place. There's only 7 million people here. And I might go to coffee at 9 a.m. on Monday, and I might hear the owner say something. And by the time I get to Thursday, I've heard it 7 or 8 times through all the owners. So, Chinese whispers is definitely a good word or a good phrase to use over here. They all talk. They all run in the same circles. So if you're doing something wrong, it quickly gets pointed out and it quickly gets spread throughout all their friends, and you can go from the top to the bottom very quick. So, you've got to continue to deliver. And I think that's one of the things I enjoy about being here. I like the pressure. I like the ruthless nature of the environment here. And I love the competition.
Yeah, cool. So just on that then, so let's say, like you said, you have coffee at 9 and by that afternoon, you've heard it 7 or 8 times, a negative reaction. Let's say, so you focus and then you start to get derailed a bit and you dealt a bad hand. What brings it back into perspective for you? What realigned your focus to make you keep going and give you that drive again?
Oh, I think when things aren't going well, you've got to work harder. And that's what I always do. I get on the phone, I make more calls, I chase more horses, I get in touch with more owners, I network more in the trainer stand with the trainers. I feel like that's when my back is against the wall and I've got to start throwing those punches. So I get out there and I put my head down and grind it out as best I can.
Oh,
I must say it doesn't happen too often, which is good for me. It's fortunate for me, but every now and then a curveball will be thrown, and you've got to deal with it. Personally, you can't let it affect you. You see with social media these days, there are so many trolls out there, and it's wrong what people say. It's not just in our industry; it's in a lot of industries. People hide behind an alias and think they can bomb people with whatever they can. But you grow a thick skin. You let it go over your shoulder. You don't let it worry you. You back yourself and just keep turning up.
I would say very insightful words there, mate. I think that's quite relevant given what's happening with COVID. I think a lot of people are going to feel like their back's against the wall and they're being given a bad hand, as I said. So it's quite fitting, or the right time, as you said, to reinforce those words, because I think there's not going to be any easy way out of this for businesses to survive or anyone who've lost their jobs. So I think that's very soul-searching and very good positive affirmation. Well, mate, I'm sure you've got plenty more owners to discuss with and talk to today. So I thank you very much for your time and good luck for the rest of the season.
No worries, anytime.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.